Warning. This video contains words that are outlawed. For your safety, the loving and caring communists of Canada have deleted all forbidden words. All hail, glorious leader Justin Castro. Praise and blessings be on his name.
Okay, dear friends, welcome back wherever you are around this ever more forsaken planet. I know you can all, in your own way, make things a little nicer for you and your loved ones or those that you care about. And don't give up on that. And especially if someone is vax-injured and you just heard examples of how lonely they are. Without social media, I think the suicide rate would be sky high, astronomical now. These people know that they've been grievously, gravely injured, and there's nothing that can be done about it so far. And we report on this 3 times a week. We're in our 4th year now, trying to bring some light into the darkness. All right, let's go and talk to our friend Stefan Verstappen, who stared death down face to face, and he's back again. And every month is a treat. Hello, Stefan.
Hello, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm still here. Thank you. Still doing what I do. I'll keep doing it for as long as I can. You, on the other hand, have physically confronted a big demon with that congestive heart failure. And the question is, how are you doing, and were you able to stabilize that at all?
I'm doing fine. I think I stabilized it. I still feel a little bit tired, but once in a while. But no, I'm doing fine, Jeff. And
Good news. All right.
I'm looking forward to getting back into the fight. Good God, what's going on in this world, Jeff? But it just pisses me off, and the more angry I get, the more determined I am to fight these bastards.
Oh, they're evil. Well, it's fighting the very personification of black evil. These are our killers.
Absolutely.
They are our executioners. All right? So that's what you're fighting.
Yep.
That's what you're fighting.
You know what? I came out with the video Defense Against the Psychopath, I think it was like 12 years ago now. And I've studied psychopaths, and they are pure evil.
Yeah.
And all our politicians are psychopaths. And I said that in the video, that the way the system is set up, it's self-selecting to ensure that only a psychopath can come within 100 miles of public office. That's just
Isn't that crazy? That's so true. So true. Yeah, it's like they get a free ticket to ride. They can get right in. It's nuts.
Yeah. If you're evil, here's the job. Here's a big salary. Come on in. I'm reminded of that movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
That's a classic.
It's a great movie, and I always liked Jimmy Stewart, and he actually fought in the war. And but they made it a happy ending. In real life, there wouldn't be that happy ending. They would have destroyed Mr. Smith. So that's what we're dealing with.
Count on that. Yes. Yeah. By the way, you mentioned something interesting. They did have to fight in the war. Of course, we know what World War II was really about. But nonetheless, they enlisted. They went in and they fought. John Garfield, Clark Gable, Jimmy Stewart. There were so many of them who went in
Humphrey Bogart.
To the military. Humphrey Bogart. Yeah. Clark Gable was an Air Force photographer. That's what he trained in because of his film background. And he went on B-17 raids over Germany to bomb the men, women, and children down there, and he would film that. So it was, the whole damn thing was such a lie. It makes me sick. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know. Anyway.
That's what turned me on to understanding the psychopath and writing about psychopaths was actually World War I. What a horror show, my God. Because this isn't a time with Norman Rockwell paintings, you know.
That's right. That's right. Saturday Evening Post on the cover of every one.
Yeah, and I love Norman Rockwell paintings. I think they're so endearing and they're so uplifting, and they manage to capture a little slice of Americana. To me, that was what America was, Norman Rockwell paintings, you know.
Well, it's true, and he did capture the reality of life in America to a large degree. Now, it wasn't like that 24 hours a day, but those little vignettes, those beautiful paintings, and if you younger people want to see what America was really like in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, I guess, go look at Norman Rockwell paintings. Just look at them. You'll get it. He was an absolute brilliant master. Go ahead.
I was watching some colorized videos of, you know, just street life in America in the 1920s and 30s, and it's unrecognizable from what we have now. And although, yeah, Norman Rockwell, sure, he idealized America, but you know, that's fine. Why can't you idealize it? Make it look a little bit better.
Well, if you're going to idealize something, that's what you want to idealize, and you're right. And I'll tell you another thing. I have a little video of people going, what they used to call them drugstores. It wasn't just where you got pharmaceuticals filled. They had gift cards. They had all kinds of, they had clothing sometimes. They had all kinds of things. The drugstore was a destination shop. And
a soda bar.
And the soda fountain, oh my God, those were like works of art. If you went into a drugstore, and if you go back and look at drugstores or soda fountains in the 1940s, people dressed beautifully just to go to the damn drugstore. The men had hats on, neckties, coat tied. The women looked great, beautiful dresses. They walked perfectly. Not like some slob. They had class, and you know, I understand class. It's just an image. I understand all that, but damn, if you
I disagree. Class is a thing, you know, and it's something that everybody should aspire to.
Well, it came from within. I know that much, and I think that's your point. I would agree. Yes, these people were classy. And they dress nicely. Boy, did they dress nicely.
Oh, yeah. There's pictures of me from the 60s, and I was always dressed nicely, you know, compared to, what's that, Walmart people.
That's right. Oh, God. Up until, and that, believe me, the exterior does reflect the interior. That's what I just said. Class came from within.
Yes.
Filth, degradation, slovenliness comes from within. That's what you think of yourself as. So get the game. Get with the program. Until 1965, 67, fraternity boys still would dress up with coats and ties, and they dressed classy. And then in the late 60s, it started all go to hell, and the women stopped dressing. I remember several years ago seeing a young lady, I don't know, 25 maybe, and she was in the supermarket, there's a store, the food store, and she was looking around, and she was dressed like a girl from the 50s. Beautiful dress, nice looking shoes, just hair combed, nice, nothing overstated, and no ink to be seen anywhere.
Oh,
and she was in there. And I was shopping nearby, and I couldn't stop. I just turned and I looked at her, so she saw me. I said, I want to thank you for dressing up. You look wonderful. And she didn't know what to say, but I had to say something because it was that nice to see somebody being something that I used to see people reflect all the time. They don't see it anymore. She just looked beautiful.
I know. I'm wondering what happened to my diversity, because in the summer, when I used to go to the local park, well, you'd see a whole lot of diversity. You'd see blonde hair, red hair, auburn hair, platinum hair, red hair, and you would see blue eyes and green eyes and hazel eyes and
That's a
brown
good
eyes.
point you're making. Yeah.
And all the women dressed like in a summer dress. I love a woman in a summer dress, something
Well, that's what this
light.
lady had on. I saw. It was a
Yeah,
summertime dress,
it's
and
a
she looked
summertime.
fabulous. Yeah.
It's light and it fits nice, and
Yeah.
usually it's colorful, flower pattern or whatever. But
That's
they
right.
look beautiful. And the last time I went to a public park in Toronto, there was no diversity. Everybody had black hair, everybody had brown eyes, and just about everybody wore what do you call it? Not a jalaba, the Muslim head to toe garb.
A hijab.
The hijab. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
wore a hijab, a brown one. And I mean, it was just so
No.
dull.
The dull, the conformity, the sameness. I see it here too.
Yeah.
Individuality, and these people actually think, by virtue of the tattoos they select, that they're going to become individuals again.
Yeah.
Forget it. As soon as you
I
ink
hate
your body
tattoos.
up, you look like everybody else. No
I don't
matter what
have
it
a
is.
single tattoo. I wouldn't get one. I
No.
was tempted when I was in Hong Kong. My buddy got a couple of dragon tattoos on his chest, and he said, "Look, we're in Hong Kong. We're studying
Uh-huh.
kung fu. Get a dragon." I go, "But Jeff, I'm artistically inclined. I'm technically a recognized visual media artist according to the Canadian Council for the Arts."
Nice.
And I'm also a literary artist according to the
Mhm.
same. You have to
Mhm.
pass. It's pretty easy to qualify to be recognized. But anyways, but I have an artistic sense. Why would I want this hideous drawing permanently embedded in my skin? I wouldn't hang this on my wall. And I especially hate tattoos on women. Oh my God, they get it on their calf,
I know.
or on
I
their
know.
thigh, and I see them walk around in the shorts now, and it's summertime, and all I think is it's a birthmark.
Well,
It's
it's a measure of self-abuse. Now, all
It
of you who are
is.
tattooed out there, don't get angry. But if you look at the human body as being perfect when it was born, it's abusive to permanently change it. And if you understand how and why tattoos work, in other words, what sustains the colors in them, and how the lower levels of the epidermis actually respond negatively to tattoo ink. If you do any research on that, you might not get a tattoo. It's worth looking into. Believe me, there's a reason those tattoos show up like they do, and it's a negative reaction for your immunological system. It's there online. You can find it. It's not
Well,
healthy.
I think bodily mutilation is primitive and
Well, sure it
low
is.
class. Yeah.
How about all
So
that metal hanging from people's faces? Nose rings. They look like they should be out in the pasture waiting to be hauled in for the evening milking or something. It's just weird.
Yeah. No, it's hideous. I find it all hideous. And I include in that all the piercings. It's bodily mutilation.
Same thing.
Yep. And I include in that circumcision. What a horrendous practice. What kind of God would want you to torture baby boys and mutilate their genitals and then have some bearded old man put his mouth?
No. I don't want to go there. That's
I
sickening.
know.
It's
so
really
sickening.
Yeah.
So any culture
It's been around for thousands of years. Now there's a hygiene aspect to it which we don't need to get into. But
no, I know.
Look, the whole thing. We're not advancing like we should. We're not
No,
advancing
we're
like
not.
we should have. We've been held back through the media and screen addiction. Believe
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What you said about that girl in the store that looks so nice
Yeah.
and how it comes from within. I used to belong to a fourth way group, George Gurdjieff, and
Okay.
we would meet every Sunday, and one of the rules, I guess, is that you had to wear a suit and tie, and it makes a big difference, So if you're walking around in sweatpants and a dirty T-shirt, um, it affects your mentality. But you put on a suit and tie, and you look good, and it kind of uplifts you a little bit. It makes you, uh, I don't know.
It's called grooming with clothes. You can groom yourself with your
Yes.
hair, wash your face. Women can put a little makeup on. That's grooming too. But grooming is head to toe kind of a thing. It starts at the
Yeah.
top and goes to the bottom. You groom
Yeah.
yourself, you look nice. It's not to say that we should all strive for conformity. That's not what we're saying here. It has to do with inner worth. And if you care
Yeah.
about yourself, you'll take good care of yourself, you'll eat good food, and if you don't know about good food, you'll find out and learn, because it's all there for you now. It's one of the few
Yeah.
things on the internet that's worthy. You can learn about health. Take care of
Yeah.
yourself. You only have one body, and that body will serve you as well as it can. I'm surprised that people live as long as they do, given the abuse that the average body takes. It used to be that people would routinely die in their 60s. That was common. Now, 75, 80, they're living longer. They look like hell, a lot of them, but they're not dying as young.
No.
I look at older news stories from the 50s and 60s, and such died 61 years old, 67 years old, 58 years old. They didn't live very long then, not like now.
Yeah.
So you've got this opportunity to get more out of life by extending your life. And there's the other side of the vax nightmare right there.
Yeah. So, anyways, let me tell you what's going on here in Canada.
Yeah, please do.
Excuse me. Our community has a political team. We've talked about this before. We have a medical team, we have communications, we have the garden team. We also have a political team. Now, I did not join the political team. I already got my hands full with the medical team and the security team. And by the way, last night I did a workshop for the community on defense against the sucker punch. And and also because I don't believe in a political solution to our problems. But they do, and that, all the power to them. And so the job of the political team is to monitor the local political scene, the town councils, the local mayor, the county officials. So it's very local. It doesn't even reach to the provincial level. It's just small town, county.
Uh-huh.
And boy, they've got their hands full. Last year, they went to protest the drag queen story hour at the library. So they protested that, and of course, we still have drag queen story time. And then they protested hanging the gay flag, the pride flag, from government flagpoles. Now, technically, the only flag that should be hung on a government public building is the Canadian flag or the Ontario provincial flag. There's no room for any other flags, but no, they got to hang the pride flag, They're not happy unless they're shoving that down the throat of every Amish farmer in the neighborhood. And so they protested that, and I think they got somewhere with that. They decided not to hang the pride flag from the local city hall. So that was good. Now, the next thing that they were protesting is they brought in this bill or this charter called the Strong Mayor Charter. And what it does...
Strong Mayor? Strong Mayor?
Yeah, yeah, Strong Mayor, like town mayor.
Got it.
So what this does, it empowers small town mayors with more powers than they've ever had before. And so basically they've become, your local mayor is now your local dictator. All right? They have the power to appoint people to positions and make all kinds of changes to the bylaws just on their own. It's like executive order.
They're autocrats. You got it.
Yeah, they're autocrats. Now, the reason for this is because the Canadian government...
Whoop! You lost me there.
Who?
You said the reason for this is, and then I heard Canadian, and then it stopped. So please repeat that.
The reason for this is because Justin Castro is promising to build 5.1 million residential.
5.1 million residential, and then I lost you, Stefan. Oh, you're still off. Todd, let's go ahead. Todd, you there, Stefan?
Yeah.
Okay, stand by. We're going to take a break. Check the connection. We've been dropping off a couple times here, and we'll come right back with Stefan Verstappen right after this. Hold on. And welcome back. Talking with Stefan up in the great
Jeff.
north. Well, you're not so north, but in fact, when you draw a line from the Toronto area on the latitudes, you're kind of where Oregon is, I think. It's not that much different.
Yeah, I'm actually further south. I'm almost the furthest south you can get in Canada. Point Pelee is just a little bit further south, and Point Pelee, if you draw a line latitude, it'll come somewhere in Northern California.
Oh, how interesting.
So I'm probably further south than you are.
Yeah, you are. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Onward.
So the political team, they got their hands full, so they're protesting. At least they had a small victory. We don't have the damn pride plate on our city hall, a pride flag, on our city hall, but we do have the pride crosswalk.
The flag.
Yeah. So they won that one. So now they're going after the strong mayor powers, and this is really insidious. This is a sneaky, dirty, underhanded. So the strong mayor, they are also given quotas for the number of houses they have to build. And a lot of the small town mayors, they're getting a quota. You have to build 12,000 homes in your small town. And they're saying, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the sewage capabilities, capacity, and we can't do this. But once they give them the strong mayor powers, they can do whatever the hell they want. And so already, our political team did have one success. They tried to bring in the strong mayor powers to Norfolk County, which is right next door to Oxford County here, and a lot of our people live there. And they fought it, and the mayors declined the strong mayor powers in Norfolk County. So, I don't think there is a political solution. Squeeze out a couple of small victories. But it doesn't really matter because the mayor at the next township over in Woodstock, he took the strong mayor powers, and now he appropriated, I forget exactly how much, but 1,000 acres. He appropriated that property, farmland, from Norfolk County in order to build a subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Canadians can't afford to buy houses, and because there's such a shortage, and the government's just trying to help.
Oh, of course.
And the other day, I drove by the property that they're already leveling and starting to build a subdivision, and there's a nice big billboard advertising the future subdivision that's going to be built there, and it shows a lovely family. Guess what? The family that they depict in the billboard is Muslim.
I guess. Oh, God.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't think you don't want them to continue with their plans to call it Verstappen Village then, right?
It's going to be Muhammad Village. We know what that is. So all of this is just being done to insert,
It's all lies. It's all lies. I know. Sickening.
It's to insert refugees in the rural areas. I mean, look, the big cities are already done. Write them off. Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver. These cities are done. Stick a fork in them. You can't walk down the street there. I mean, they'll come after you with a knife. But, and all of us, now this is the third time I've moved because of white flight. I moved twice here in Canada, and once when I was in California, I had to move for white flight because the neighborhood I was living in suddenly was filled up with, MMA, Mexican mafia guys and street gangs, and oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Santa Paula, it's a little tiny town.
Wait, hold on. You lived in Santa Paula?
No, I lived in Ventura, but Santa Paula is just like 30-minute drive away. We pass by it all the time on the way to Ohio.
I know. I grew up in Santa Barbara, and before that, I grew up in where Camarillo and Thousand Oaks are. So,
of course, yeah.
All right. Well, I grew up there in Thousand Oaks. Yeah, and another little cute town, Santa Paula and Fillmore.
I don't remember Fillmore. No.
Fillmore is another one. Little.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so, they had like 14 street gangs registered there in Santa Paula.
I can't believe this. That's horrible.
No, I know, but, I mean, what is Santa Paula? It's a gas station and a stop sign. That's it,
Well, there used to be some ag there. They had groves and things of citrus.
Sure, yeah, but as far as a town goes, not much of a town. But that's why I was shocked to find, anyways, what's going on. I mean, we're being flooded, and that's what they're doing here in Canada. So now that they got the strong mayor program here, it means the local mayor can do whatever the hell they want. They can appropriate farmland, and they can designate it as residential, and they can start building houses on it. And who's paying for it all? Well, the Canadian taxpayer. And in order to pay for it all, the taxes have gone through the roof. And they even say, for example, they just increased the capital gains tax to 67%. 67%.
Oh, that's astonishing. I'm amazed.
Up from 50%.
Well, that's Bolshevik California for you.
Yeah. Well, that's communism. Look, all of this is communism, in case people don't understand what's going on. This is all a result of the communist takeover. And taxing people out of their homes is part of the communist strategy. It's, the second plank in their 10 planks of communism, right? Second plank is to tax you to death so you can't afford a house. And that's what they're doing. So, Justin Trudeau raised the capital gains tax, and he says it's in order to pay for the housing initiative that they've put in. So here we go. Okay, so now they're taxing And not only did they raise the capital gains tax, they raised the tax on booze and cigarettes and groceries and carbon, and I can't even remember all of them. I got a list here. I'd have to go and read through it. Everything they'd raised the taxes on, and he says it's to pay for the housing initiative. So now, white, middle-class Canadians, because remember, the rich don't pay taxes and the poor don't pay taxes. It's only the working class that pays taxes. And the working class in Canada is still what's left of the white population, right? And so it's the white people here being taxed through the nose to pay to have their property confiscated, to pay to have houses built for Muslims and Nigerians and whatever other kind of garbage they're bringing into the country. I mean, it's such an insult. If people don't understand by now that this is a genocide against the white race, because I don't know what else to call it. White people are being taxed out of existence into
exactly. No, it's a war on
homelessness.
All right.
Exactly. In order to pay for third world. Look, I don't like these people. I'm sorry. I know a lot of. I've been all over the world, Jeff. I've lived in many different countries. I've always
and they should be in their own countries with their own cultures, their own values, their own mores, their own religion, their own kind. They should just stay there. They're happy there. Why would you want to live in another culture that you don't fit in and you have no interest in fitting in? I don't get that.
They're not doing these immigrants a favor by bringing them here. Look at all the immigrants there in New York. Are they happy? They didn't know that that's what was going to happen. They were promised credit cards and free cars, and they get there, and it turns out, you got to sleep in a tent, and pretty soon it's going to be winter again, and have fun with that. So that's what they've done. Now, the other thing they're doing, there's no end to it, because, the communists never sleep. You and I and our listeners, we got to earn a living, we got to look after our families, and everybody I know works their asses off, and they have a little bit of free time, and they contribute that free time to their community where they can, but you can't keep up with this. So now the next thing that our political team has been protesting against, and what they do is they print off a lot of flyers, and they go door to door, and they talk to people, they knock on doors, and hand out flyers everywhere. That's how they got Norfolk County to reject the the strong mayor bullshit. But now they're bringing in, guess what, a new bill called DEI.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Equity,
and inclusion. Yeah, we need that out here because it's 99% white Christians with a sprinkling of Amish and Mennonites. What we really need here is for everybody to start hiring homosexuals and Muslims.
I don't know how you can get by without doing that anymore, right? That's the only way.
I don't know where
you're
going to find them, but we know now where we're going to find them. We're going to find them in all the new housing projects that they're developing.
You're going to find them
that
right
we're paying
next
for.
door, right across the street,
right next
just around
door.
the corner.
Yes. Yep.
Who is behind this strong mayor thing again? Where'd that come from? Is that a Canadian-wide dictum of some kind?
Well, it's Ontario-wide as far as I know. But where does it come from? And the same thing with the DEI bill or charter or whatever they're trying to pass. What, you think the local town council wrote this up? Bob, the mayor, who also happens to be the local real estate broker. You know how it is in small towns. Or Councilman Sally, who runs the hairdressing shop on May Street. You think they got together and put together this charter to bring in DEI into our little humble farming town?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They wrote this up. All of this comes from the WEF and Davos direct, okay? They send out the orders, and everybody has to obey because they got the video of them molesting that 6-year-old, and that video is being stored in a vault in Tel Aviv, and so everybody better do what they say. And they send out these orders. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is empower the mayors to confiscate property and build housing for refugees in small little towns that don't want any goddamn refugees, because they destroy it. They do. I've seen it. That's why, I've done white flight 3 times. What happens is they move in, and the entire area turns to shit, garbage, and graffiti, and then the storefronts start to close down because there's too much theft and robbery, and then it's unsafe, so people don't go out, and there's nobody on Main Street on a Friday night after 7 o'clock, and it happens all the time. They destroy everything everywhere they go, and that's what they're trying to do to all these small towns. So all of these orders comes from the WEF and Davos and all these other, what do you call them,
globalist organizations. How's that?
Globalist organizations, yes. That all happen to be owned and operated by the chosen ones. Yeah. Communism is Judaism. I forget, there was a famous rabbi that said that. And he confessed communism is Judaism. And everything that we see, doesn't matter what they call it, it's just another facet of communism. It's another one of the 10 planks of communism, and it's all aimed at destroying the European peoples of the world. That's why this isn't going on in Africa. This is not going on in, Indonesia, right? It's only
we need to remember also, Stefan, excuse me, that when you think about this, virtually every ism is from the chosen. They're behind it.
Oh, yeah,
virtually every ism. Virtually
every
everyone.
Ism. Yeah. If there's an ISM at the end of it, you know that's a Jewish psyop.
That's right.
Yeah, and what is the purpose? The purpose is to genocide the white race. It's so obvious, and all the laws they pass is to disempower, the white people. Get them out of their houses, take their farms. You're not allowed to grow a garden in the backyard. You have to eat the poison we sell you. On and on it goes, and I've never imagined anything like this. As a long-term prepper and survivalist, I used to think, I would laugh at a zombie apocalypse. I would laugh at a nuclear war. I could survive that. I would laugh at, complete breakdown of society. Not a problem. The only thing that has scared me from the very beginning is communism, because this is what communism does. It reduces everybody to quiet, desperation, and fear, and then people start to turn on each other. It came out afterwards that in East Germany, after the fall of the wall and the fall of communism, they went through the records there for, I forget what it was, Stasi, and they found out that like 45% of all East Germans were informants for the government.
I know. That was a huge number.
That's what they do. That's what communism does. It's such an evil system because they starve people and they ruin their lives. They take their homes. They throw them out of their businesses and their jobs. And people are desperate. And then they say, well, if you'd like a loaf of bread this month, give us the names of people that you've heard talking in a negative light about the government.
That's right.
Right? That's how it works. And that is, like with all the other scenarios, the nuclear disaster and zombie apocalypse, alien invasion, not a problem. I got my shotgun. I know who to shoot. But with communism, you don't know who to shoot because it's your neighbor that's turning on you and informing on you.
Done, Stefan, what was done to the Germans in East Germany after the war was horrible. Horrible.
Oh, yeah.
The German people, and I ran a wonderful story about this. It's up here somewhere. I'm looking for it. And it had to do with the title, and the title was the real chosen were the German people. The talent, the emotion, the discipline, the work ethic, everything was reflected in Germany. And that's how they pulled themselves, under Hitler's leadership, out of the gutter of life in 3 years. The miracle of all miracles. And the 9 million Germans, minimum, were murdered after the war ended, between 1945 and 1953. They
that was
just
the
went
real
in there and
Holocaust.
killed them. Oh, it's true.
Yeah. No, I still tell people, I said, listen, as bad as things are now, if we could rid ourselves of the parasites, we could turn it around and be living in a happy country again in about 3 to 5 years.
We could.
Wouldn't take that long.
No, we could do it. I think the American
could do
people
it.
still have it. They do.
Yeah.
They have it.
But we can't do it as long as we're saddled with the parasites that sabotage every good intention. So
They've
anyway,
taken over every main nexus point, that may be redundant, every main nexus of control, power, and influence. They own it, or they created it, and they've done it. Again, it's an astonishing, I hate to use the word, achievement, but they've done it. And how
you know what I
reverse
recently reread? It was a book I read about 28 years ago, which, made me Jew-wise. And that is The Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Must reading.
A must read, absolutely. And then they say, "Oh, this is a fraud. It's a forgery." And at that time when I read it, the reason I read it because I was researching my first book, The 36 Strategies, and I was reading everything about strategies and tactics and con artists and manipulation. I just finished reading Machiavelli's The Prince. Machiavelli's got nothing on the protocols. Machiavelli is child's play compared to the protocols. And but everybody needs to read that because but it's not genius, okay? It's not genius. Basically, what the protocols say is that the vast majority of human beings are scumbags, cater to their scumduggery, and manipulate them into doing what you want. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. They know what to do. They know when they, when the chosen come to a new kingdom or a new country, they go directly to the leaders. And they know that the new leaders will be psychopaths, just like you and I know now, after the research in my video, Defense Against the Psychopath. We know that all the leaders are going to be psychopaths. And what do psychopaths want? Well, they're pedophiles. And they want drugs. And they want power. And they want money. And so the chosen, they've cornered all those markets. So they go to the king or the president or the prime minister, whatever it is, and say, what do you like, young boy? Young boy? We get you, young boy. We got lots of young boys. Don't worry. And that's how it goes, Jesus Murphy. It's so simple. But it's based on a viewpoint that humanity is absolute scum. And, a lot of it is, but not all of it is. And we've talked about this before. Last time I was telling you that there's probably 30 million good people in America. And, us good people have to work together. That's the other thing is we don't work together. We don't unite. And that's something I've been trying to do for the last 5 years. Teach people to work together. If the 30% good, decent European, i.e. white people, pool their resources and work together, we could wipe these people out. We could, We only need, how many fought in the Revolutionary War? 7%?
I've heard 3, 5, 7. The bottom line is it was less than 10, and it was very small.
Anyways, folks, there's still good people out there. We do have some small victories. I don't think it's going to make a big difference, but listen, It's not up to me. It's up to our political team. They believe in it. They're going to do it. They're going to fight it. Good for them. I support them. Anyways, support your local people that are trying to do something on a local level. That's the only chance we have, is to change things on a small town, county level, and support them. Even if you don't believe in it. I don't believe in it, but I support them. Good for you.
Very good, indeed. Well said, Stefan, as always. All right, you rest up, and we'll talk to you next month. Be safe out there. And
you
know
too,
that
Jeff.
you've
Thank
done,
you so much.
You're welcome. Know that you've done extraordinary things in showing people and helping people achieve community. And it's a lifelong achievement that you've racked up. It's amazing. So keep that in mind, too. And hello to all of you up there who are working with Stefan, who are part of the whole project up there. You are leading the way. So keep it up. All right. Talk soon, my friend.
Yeah. Take care, Jeff.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night. All right. Stefan Verstappen.
Warning, our neurosensors have detected subversive thoughts. We will now activate our 5G control towers and erase the last 42 minutes of your memory. Stand by.